Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going over this little pistol that you see in my hands right now and that you guys saw throughout the intro. This is the Grand Power Stribog. This is the A1 model. This is the Gen 2 A1 model, and the big difference before going on with that is that the non-Gen 2, or the Gen 1 I suppose, had a reciprocating charging handle, and all of the ones that are coming in right now will have a non-reciprocating charging handle, which most of us like. I would be on that list for sure. But they come in a couple different configurations right now. They come with this little guy here, the SB Tactical Folding Stock. You can fire it with it folded. And then they also have a version that just has an end plate back here. It's a little bit cheaper, I should say. And this one has an 8-inch barrel, and they also are bringing them in with a 16-inch carbine barrel. However, as of October 2019, when I'm actually filming this, they tend not to stay in stock too long. So that's kind of why I wanted to get this video out, because right now these are in stock. And side note on that one, before moving on, code Mr. Guns and Gear will get you $50 off at the link below in the video description, as well as it should be pinned in the comments section. But what we're going to do before jumping into all the details on this little guy is step out to the range, see what kind of accuracy we can get out of it, and then come back in and sort of work through it and all the details. We're going to see what kind of accuracy I can get out of this little pistol here. I have a few different loads here that we're going to run through it and see how it does. But first up is going to be some Minuteman munitions, just basic polymer jacketed 115 grain. And then we have some heavier defensive stuff on there right now. We have it 1-6 ACSS scope, and target is downrange at 50 yards. Generally with pistols or pistol carbine type things, I guess you'd call it. I like to keep it at 50 just because the wind starts to really push it around once you get out at distance. So I'm kind of going to go with a chin weld here due to the rail height, but we'll see what we can do. Interesting on that group. Those were all good trigger pulls. There's not a bad trigger pull there. And we had a little bit of stringing left to right. So up next, we'll load up some Winchester 147 grain hollow point. This is their train and defense stuff, and see how that does. That group certainly tightened it up. I guess it likes the heavy stuff, and I guess we'll verify that now because we have some 147 grain Federal HSTs. Excellent load. It's one of my more common carry defensive loads, so let's see how it likes it. All right, let's go check them out. That first group of Minuteman stuff strung out like we talked about, and we're at 4 inches there. I wish I had some heavier Minuteman stuff with me, but I don't. But I'm guessing it's just the grain. It just doesn't like the light stuff. So, because both 147 grain are shot great. So here we're at 1.5 inches with that Winchester 147 grain hollow point. I believe that's their Ranger bullet that they use for their train and protect. And then smoking group here with that HST center to center. We're right at 3/4 inch. With that, so about 1.5 MOA, which is pretty darn good for 9mm. We'll take it. From the factory, the pistol does ship with backup iron sights, and they're actually pretty interesting because in either configuration, folded or unfolded, they're usable. So as you guys see them now in the folded position, you basically have a pistol type of sight, so a notch and then a post type of sight. Like this, for what it's worth, I tried it just to see what would happen. Like this, at 25 yards with 115 grain Minuteman ammunition, this stuff was shooting about 2 inches low and to the left. And then when I flipped them up and used these sights that you guys see here, using the rear diopter and then the sort of post dot type of center, it was 1 inch high and right with the same ammo Minuteman ammunition stuff. They are non-adjustable. Basically, they will get you close. However, they are not precision sights in any way, and I would imagine that Grand Power is producing this with the thought in mind that you're going to be running an optic on there. So with a lot of the micro red dots out there, you're going to want to run a low mount, so that way you get a natural cheek weld. You can run an AR height mount if you want to, however, you're going to have a chin weld, so just kind of keep that in mind there. But tons of great options out there. If you want to run like an RMR, it would work just fine. Or again, I was using the Nikon P Tactical red dot, and it ran awesome, no issues at all, super easy to dial in, and had a nice comfy cheek weld with the brace here on it. Now continuing on back, our lower receiver, at least what we would call it anyway in America, is all polymer, and it houses a trigger, which is actually pretty interesting. So we'll drop the magazine release, and I should point out that everything on this gun, at least everything I know of anyway, is completely ambidextrous. So we have mag release, slide lock, slide stop here. So basically, if I can do it, I'll push it on the other side, but basically I'm pushing up right here. That will actually lock your bolt to the rear, and to drop it, you're just gonna push down. And they do make extended ones for those of you guys that want extended controls for whatever reason. They're out there. Mag release from both sides. The magazine does come with 3 30-round magazines. They are clear, as you guys can see here. Some folks have, questioned whether or not they would be durable being clear magazines because they're not steel reinforced. I've had 0 issues at all with them. No cracking, no signs of cracking, nothing like that. And of course, there's a lot of guns out there that take clear polymer magazines that have no issues at this point. So I'm pretty confident with them. Again, 0 issues. If you guys want to buy them, they are available. I think they come in 10, 15, 20, and 30 round configurations, and all of those are around $25 to $35, but they're out there if you want more. You can get that. But what I was getting at earlier is that the lower receiver here is a polymer housing, and sort of unlike an AR-15, this is not considered the firearm. The actual upper receiver here is considered the firearm, and that's where you see all of the serialized numbers and parts and stuff like that. So just something to take note of. Aftermarket support, they may be coming out down the road. I know the A3, which is not in the United States yet, and I'm not sure if they're even producing them over in Slovakia yet, but I've seen like prototypes of them, takes an AR grip, for example. So there may be other aftermarket stuff coming out. And the trigger, just make sure, we'll talk about that real quick. For a sub gun, I think it's pretty good. And what's cool about it is I was actually just recently, as of filming this anyway, out at the Iraq Veteran 88888 YouTube shoot, and Grand Power was there. So I was talking to one of their engineers, and he was saying that most AR-15 triggers actually work in this gun. Not all, they're not guaranteeing it, all of that stuff, but when you actually look at the housing here in the lower receiver, it's basically an aluminum housing that holds what looks like an AR-15 trigger, right? So a lot of them do swap in. If you want to do that, you have to remove the safety to get to it, because that's what holds it in place. It's not super hard though, it's definitely doable. I'm sure folks down in the comment section will let us know which ones work that they've tried. Just let us know either way. But the trigger on it, as I meant to get to, feels very AR-ish, so it's got a super clean, super crisp break, which is nice. However, it's a little bit on the heavy side. We'll Grand Thumb you here and sort of ghost it, right? So, a little bit of take up, just like an AR trigger would be. Super clean, super crisp break. However, it's not the lightest out there. It breaks, this one on my scale, my Lyman trigger gauge breaks right at 7 pounds, 7¼ pounds, consistently across the board. Reset, excellent, tactile, audible, all of those sorts of things, just like you would like. Our magazine well here, flared, great, easy for reloading, those sorts of things. We have a opened up trigger guard there for those of you guys shooting with gloves on, or wintertime conditions, whatever the case may be. And in terms of ergonomics, it fits my hand well. There's no issues there. There's no like rubbing or anything on my knuckles. Feels good overall. Field stripping the pistols, pretty simple stuff. The first thing we're going to do is, of course, make sure it is unloaded, and at this point we verified that it is. Now we're going to push this pin out here on the lower receiver. It is a captive pin. Sometimes it's a little bit tight, but it's going to pull through, and again, it's captive. You can hear it click right there, and just kind of hit your lower down there. And if you have the SB tactical brace, you got to kind of fold it to the side a little bit first, and you're going to push in and down at the same time. So in and down, just like that. You guys can see it will come off. If you have an end plate without the SB Tactical, it's going to go the same way. So at this point, we're just going to take our charging handle, pull up on it, and out will come your bolt and carrier assembly. And really, that's your basic field strip, guys. You can take this out though. However, the front pin, there's no reason that I can see to do so for general maintenance, because it does have a retaining spring in there, which also holds your bolt catch and bolt release in there. And I just kind of think there's a decent chance that somebody's going to mess those springs up if you actually do try to push through the front pin for general maintenance. Again, I don't see any need to do so. And then reassembly is the exact same in the opposite direction. I should point out one of the benefits of the Gen 2 design there is that you don't need to remove your charging handle. However, if you want to swap it, that's the spot it needs to be in if you want to pull it through and put it over on the other side of the pistol. Now, reassembly, pretty simple stuff as you would imagine. At this point, we're going to, again, come in a little bit low there and then slide it in, and then you're going to push in and up at the same time, just like that. Now we're going to put our little receiver back up in and just push the pin through. Sometimes you got to kind of make sure you're up there, just like so. And there you go. When we just had it disassembled, I'm sure some of you guys noticed that the bolt and carrier are gigantic, and that's because it is a straight blowback gun. And that brings me to another point. Whenever I post about this online, everybody says, oh, it's just a B&T clone, it's a B&T knockoff. To some extent, they're probably right? On the exterior, it looks very similar to the B&T for sure, without question. You just can't deny that. However, the actual operation is a little bit different because the B&T, while it is blowback as well, uses sort of like a hydraulic system that this one doesn't use. Again, this is just a straight blowback with the spring and the buffers there at the rear. And like I said, it's been 100% reliable. And in terms of a blowback gun, it doesn't have a ton of recoil. And while I say that, just keep in mind, not a lot of 9mm guns are gonna have a ton of recoil, but like compare this to like a straight blowback AR9, just like a basic one, right? This has way less recoil than that. A lot of AR9s actually have more recoil than their 5.56 counterparts. This one I'd probably say is right on par with a 5.56 AR. It's definitely lighter than a standard AR9 in terms of what you actually feel from the shooter's perspective. So what's nice about that is it's very easy to shoot. There's not a lot of blast, there's not a lot of concussion. New shooters would definitely probably take to this pretty darn well. It also has the ability to take a number of different stock accessories. So they do actually make stocks for them. There are some collapsible Maxim style stocks. There are some collapsible braces. So there's a lot of different options for you that run basically right along this upper rail section here that's cut out, which certainly is nice. Another thing that's very, very different than the B&T on this one is the cost, right? So that thing is definitely over $2,000 regardless of where you look. Right now, this one here with this particular brace is $849. Again, with code Mr. Guns and Gear and the link in the video description, you can get it for $799. And the base model without the brace is $699. Again, with the Mr. Guns and Gear code, it's $649. So that's a pretty good value. If you look around for sort of like AR9 pistols or 9mm pistols out there that you can throw a brace on and rock out with, I would say it's pretty competitive. Again, excellent accuracy like you guys saw. It's not had a single malfunction. The machining, as you guys have seen here throughout photos being rolled in and the disassembly, is really good. I haven't seen anything that's problematic, anything that would cause me to sort of take note and think that it might not be made well. Not really a whole lot of bad things to say about it, but if you guys have any questions that we didn't cover here in this video, by all means, please post down below in the comment section as always. But if you actually need an answer, the best place to reach me is over at my Facebook page. I see all the messages over there. I don't always see them on YouTube, Instagram, wherever else I post stuff. So shoot me a message. Sometimes it takes me a few days because there's only one of me. And there's a bunch of geese apparently, but there's only one of me and hundreds of thousands of you, but I do get back to you guys over there if you do shoot me a message. So that's about it. These geese are very opinionated about the Stribog. You're killing me, guys. But if you like this kind of video, aside from the geese noise and you're not subscribed, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, please hit the notification bell because YouTube, for some reason, doesn't like to show my videos in my subscribers feed these days. And if you've done that and you're still not seeing them, sign up for my email list. You can do that over at my Facebook page under the sign up tab or at my website, mrgunsandgear.com, under the sign up tab as well. I only send out one email a week just with the videos of the week to make sure that everybody can actually see the videos that I put up. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching, guys. I truly appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing all of you in the next video. Geese, man. They're not playing tonight.